Good afternoon, class. This is Dr. Ian J. Garampiel, and today we are going to start our discussion on clinical parasitology. So, welcome, and I hope you are going to enjoy our second class for midterms about parasites. Okay? So, before we are going to start, let's have a quick recap of last week's lesson. So, may I ask for a volunteer who would like to recap our discussion last week? Yes, Joanna. Okay, very good. Now, so last week we have discussed the general characteristics of nematodes. So for today, we are going to have a discussion. One of the most common nematodes that we are going to encounter as doctors. Okay? So before we formally begin our lesson for today, let me present to you a case scenario. So imagine yourself inside the operating room. So a patient is undergoing exploratory laparotomy or XLAP for SBO or small bowel obstruction. So as the surgeon opens the jejunum, you suddenly see a multiple long, cylindrical, cream-colored worms wriggling actively inside the lumen. So these worms measure 20 to 35 centimeters in length and are tapered at both ends and have a smooth unsegmented body wall. So some of them are completely obstructing the intestine, clearly explaining why the patient presented with bowel obstruction. So now, I want you to think for a moment, what organism could this be? No? What organism could this be? Yes, John. Okay, Ascaris. Sino pa? Yes, Michael? Enterobius? Yes, Joanna? Trichuris. Okay, so you have different answers, no? So the next question would be, how does it cause such a severe clinical condition? Bakit kaya umabot sa ganito? Okay, di ba mas nakaka-excite, no? Mas interesting, no? Mas exciting na yung lesson natin. Okay, sasagutin natin yan in a while. So among these 6 pictures here, one of which we are going to discuss this afternoon. So at the end of this session, you students will be able to analyze clinical case scenarios involving Ascaris lumbricoides infection and justify the appropriate diagnostic and management strategies. Okay? So my main reference for this afternoon's lecture is Medical Parasitology in the Philippines by Dr. Belisario, with a supplement reference from Paniker's textbook of Medical Parasitology. Okay? And I'm proud to say that Dr. Belisario, no, na-retrieve ko yung pictures namin kaya hindi ko napakita last session, no, that recently, last November 2024, I was given a chance to train with the author of this book, Dr. Belisario himself. No, mas nakaka-excite kasi yung natutunan ko from him. I'm going to share it also to you. Okay? Sige, let's begin with our discussion for this afternoon. So, we are going to talk about phylum Nematoda. Okay, when we talk about nematoda, you are going to talk about roundworms. No, yan yung na-discuss natin last week, no? So na-discuss natin yung general characteristic ng nematodes. So we are going to start with the Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay, pag sinabi nating Ascaris lumbricoides, this is one of the intestinal roundworms na makikita natin. So, 'di ba? Review tayo. Meron tayong mnemonic na chased or T-cash. So, among our mnemonic sa intestinal roundworms na chased or T-cash, no, as you can see here, yung mnemonic natin na itinuro ko, di ba, last week, no, T-cash. Kasama dun yung Ascaris lumbricoides. So, Ascaris lumbricoides is one of the 6 major nematodes that can be found in the intestines. Okay? So, simula ngayong araw na ito, you will never forget that this is an ova of Ascaris lumbricoides. Very distinct, very common. Okay? So, i-discuss pa natin yung Ascaris lumbricoides further. So, pag sinabi nating Ascaris lumbricoides, we are talking about the most common and the largest intestinal nematode. Emphasis on the most common and the largest. So, it is the largest, kaya siya tinatawag din na the giant roundworm. Okay? So, yung nakikita ninyo sa video kanina, no, medyo parang noodles na siya, no? Ang lalaki na. No? Because it's a giant roundworm. And remember that this is included among the soil-transmitted helminths. Okay? So, review tayo. Kapag inaral natin yung mga parasites, we need to remember what is the mode of transmission, what is the infective stage, and what is the diagnostic stage. Review. Pag sinabi mong infective, ito yung nakaka-infect ng tao. Pag sinabi mong diagnostic, ito yung makikita mo as a physician or medical technologist sa microscope. Okay? Kung ano yung nakikita natin sa microscope, these are the diagnostic stages. Ito yung nakukuha natin na samples na i-view natin. Kaya siya diagnostic stage. Okay? Paano natin makikita na merong infection or merong ganitong organism yung isang tao, no, sa ganitong parasite? Okay? Remember that the transmission of Ascaris lumbricoides is injection of egg. Specifically, what egg? It's the embryonated egg with L3 larva. Okay? You need to take down. No, it's ingestion of eggs with L3 larva or embryonated egg. Also, the infective stage for this one is the embryonated egg. Okay? And the diagnostic stage is an embryonated egg, fertilized egg, unfertilized egg, and the adults. Dok, nakikita natin yung adults? Yes. Just like what we have seen kanina on the second slide. No, na we can see them. No? Actually, minsan lumalabas yan sa katawan ng tao. No, i-discuss natin yan mamaya. So, adult worms live in the small intestine, no, where a female can produce up to, imagine, 200,000 eggs daily. Okay? And they can be passed out in the feces. So, these eggs require soil embryonation. No? It needs about 18 days to several weeks in warm, moist, shaded conditions to become infective. So once a person swallows embryonated eggs, the larvae hatch in the intestine, it penetrates the mucosa, and travel through the portal in systemic circulation to the lungs. And in the lungs, they mature for about 10 to 14 days, then they migrate to bronchial tree, they are swallowed, and they can return to small intestine. Okay? So here, they develop into adults, they complete the cycle, and the whole process from ingestion of infective eggs, embryonated eggs, to egg-laying adults will take about 2 to 3 months. Okay? So it will take about 2 to 3 months. So the Ascaris lumbricoides ova, if you are going to see it in the microscope through direct fecal smear or K2 thick or K2 cats, no, you are going to see different versions of an ova. Okay, meron parang payat, meron parang bilugan, meron parang durian. No, there are different, no, na version, no. But what we have here, no, is the fertilized ova. Dok, iba ba yung fertilized kaysa sa embryonated? Yes. Pag sinabi mong fertilized, no, but pag sinabi mong embryonated, ito yung merong larva. Ibig sabihin meron siyang uod nasa loob. Okay, meron na siyang larva. Pero pag sinabi mong fertilized, it's only fertile. Right? It's only fertilized. Okay? Pag sinabi mo naman infertile or unfertilized, no? It has a different, no, very unique structure. It is oblong, parang rectangle oblong na siya. Okay? Wala na yung parang durian-like niya na mukha. Okay? These are usually elongated, no? Usually triangular, kidney-shaped, and other bizarre forms. So the shell is often very thin, no? Internal material is a mass of irregular globules and granules that fits the shell. Okay? So we are going to discuss first about the egg. No? Ano yung makikita natin or ano yung characteristic ng egg na ito? Okay? So if you are going to look at in the microscope using direct fecal smear, no, there are widely versions. So one of which is yung tinatawag nating fertilized or corticated egg. So the morphology, it has a thick transparent shell. It has 3 distinct layers. No? Meron tayong lipoidal vitelline membrane. Meron tayong middle glycogen layer, which is thick. No? Meron tayong outermost mammillated albuminous coat. And the egg or the ovum can be measured, no, around 45 to 75 micrometers to 35 to 50 micrometers. No? And remember that the internal content, no, it can contain lecithin granules and it indicates further development potential. Okay? So You have the unfertilized egg, no? Usually this is disorganized, no? This has refractile granules as you can see here, no? Makikita niyo dyan. It has refractile granules. And take note of the description. It lacks the outermost albuminous coat. Okay? So as fertilized, but inside structure contains the larva of the embryo. So yung kaibahan ng embryonated or embryonated na ova as compared to the fertilized is that it contains, no? It contains an embryo. Okay? It contains a larva or the L3 larva if tatanungin. Okay? So as you can see here, no? I don't know if you really can appreciate here in your screens there, but we have here a larva. Okay? Dok, parang kalbo to. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag nating decorticated. Okay? It's decorticated. Huh? So that's the difference between a corticated and a decorticated. Okay? So what are the pathogenesis of this infection? So remember that pulmonary migration is very common for Ascaris lumbricoides. So how does this happen, no? So the larva, as it breaks the capillaries, no, minute hemorrhage are produced which may lead to production of, let's say, cellular infiltration, no? It can be um, neutrophils or eosinophils. So this serous exudation and consolidation is called Ascaris pneumonia or pneumonitis. No, this is characterized by fever, no, chest pain, rapid and shallow breathing, spasms of cough, non-crepitant bronchial rales, no, produced pronounced eosinophilia and characteristics of respiration if asthmatic yung is asthmatic type, no. And it can also cause allergic reaction, no? Just like Loeffler syndrome. So yung Loeffler syndrome, no, lumalabas yan most of the time sometimes sa exam, no, sa board examination. That's why you need to take note of this. No, there could be an allergic manifestation of Ascaris lumbricoides and that is called Loeffler syndrome. So how do we see this one? No, the patient may have high eosinophilia, no? The patient may have fever, and remember, you have the thysis-like appearance, no? Pulmonary infiltrates. Also, if the larva fails to penetrate the alveoli, it can go to general circulation and lodge in the different organs. Yan yung tinatawag nating aberrant migration. So some of the time, rarest of the time, no, the most complicated can be seen in the brain, the spinal cord, the eyeball, and the kidney. Okay? So what are the yung adult? Ano yung pwedeng ma-cause ng adult? So it can be asymptomatic, no? Some of the time in light infection. But in even a single worm can produce a deadly disease. Remember that. They can produce ileus, no, because of mechanical obstruction, and they can aggregate themselves into a mass or bolus of ascaris and produce volvulus and intussusception. So yung single worm na yon, no, it can block the following, no, like your ampulla of Vater, it can cause pancreatitis, it can block the common bile duct, it can cause obstructive jaundice, no, liver causing hepatic abscess or liver abscess, or it can be the main reason, no. Some of my friends na surgeons, they usually tell me that there are cases that individuals have ascaris inside the appendix, no. Baka hindi lang fecalith yung laman ng uh, appendicitis, no. If you are going to open it, no, it can be caused by an ascaris. Okay? So, its presence in the small intestine may contribute to protein calorie malnutrition. Remember that. Okay? And its byproducts or metabolites can cause allergic manifestation. And if they are going to penetrate the intestinal wall, they can carry microorganisms with them, leading to bacteremia and septicemia. Okay? So we have discussed already, no, eosinophilic exudates, no. Major damage occurs during larval migration. It could lead to lungs, Loeffler syndrome, and the wandering worms, no. Due to erratic behavior, no. Pwede siyang pumunta sa ibang parte ng katawan natin. Okay? And it can cause diseases. So again, no, what we have discussed as a review, what worms like Ascaris lumbricoides can go to a long migration phase. We have ash, now we have Ascaris strongyloides, and the hookworms. Okay, and remember the treatment for this condition is albendazole. So how do we give albendazole? We can give albendazole for these cases, 400 milligrams on a single dose. Okay, so take note that ascariasis can have a na clinical presentation. It can result to appendicitis, pancreatitis, no, pwedeng peritonitis, and the patient might present with malabsorption syndromes, no? Okay. So uh, before we are going to have a quick break, no, let me have a short case. Okay, let's apply what we have learned from our previous discussion. So, a 6-year-old boy presents with abdominal pain, bloating, and occasional vomiting. So, during surgery for suspected intestinal obstruction, multiple long cream-colored worms measuring about 20 to 35 are removed from the small intestine. So, question tayo, no? Joanna. Okay. So, what is the most likely parasite and what is your immediate management step? Correct. Okay. You focused first on resolving the obstruction. That is very good because starting deworming drugs too early could worsen the blockage. No, that is very excellent clinical reasoning. So now, the what preventive measures can reduce the spread of this infection in the community? Yes, Michael? Very good. No, always remember clinical management helps the patient, but public health measures protect the community. Okay? So let's review. Okay? Review natin yung na-discuss natin kanina. So this one is what kind of egg? This is the okay, yung itong sa gitna, that is the unfertilized. Itong nasa gilid, it's the fertilized. Okay? And yung sa pinakagilid on the right side, that is the decorticated ova. Okay? So what is our conclusion? That Ascaris lumbricoides is again the one of the most prevalent intestinal parasites worldwide. No, it is endemic in tropical and resource-limited regions, just like here in the Philippines. No, its clinical impact ranges from silent infections, no, to life-threatening complications such as intestinal obstruction or hepatobiliary disease. And understanding its morphology, life cycle pathogenesis, and control measures is crucial for early recognition, proper management, and prevention. So ultimately, no, prevention through hygiene, sanitation, and regular deworming is the cornerstone in reducing the burden of ascariasis. Okay? So, I'm going to ask Michael. Okay, Michael, what are your takeaways for this today's lesson? Okay. Now, sabi ni Michael, as a student, I realized that ascariasis is not only a medical condition, but also a public health challenge. And that is correct. No? It reminds us that proper sanitation, hygiene, and mass deworming are vital in protecting entire communities. Okay? So, I hope you have learned a lot, no, sa Ascaris lumbricoides for this afternoon's lesson. So, I thank you for um, being um, participative, and God bless us all.